AOC has been out there on this, I don't know if it's campaign trail, I don't know what we're calling it, but this like fight the oligarchy tour with Bernie Sanders, from which, venue to venue, she travels first class, sipping her champagne, in the first class cabin as the losers and plebs walk by to coach. They're the ones she's really fighting for. And she's decided to ramp up her anti-Trump rhetoric in a way she's done before, but that could be deeply problematic for her if Trump actually decides to pay some attention to her. Listen to her just the other day, SOT 11.
Donald Trump is a criminal who was found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud, liable for sexual abuse. Of course he's lying and abusing and manipulating the stock market too. When he talks about rapists and criminals, he should look in the mirror.
Okay. Clearly saying that Donald Trump is a racist. Rapist. She also thinks he's a racist. He's all the ists. But here, she's in deep trouble because he was not found liable for rape. And George Stephanopoulos just had to pay ABC some $15 million to President Trump to settle a defamation lawsuit for saying that. She doesn't have any privilege out on the campaign stump. She's not protected by speech and debate while she's out there. And I ask you, Steve, whether Trump should do something about this, because quickly, here she was just in January on social media about his inauguration. Listen to her there.
All these journalists are like, Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Are you going to the inauguration? Let me make myself clear. I don't celebrate rapists. So no, I'm not going to the inauguration tomorrow.
That's at least twice.
I'm 10,000% in favor of consequences being ratcheted up comprehensively in the culture at the moment. So commend so festival of lawsuits and lawfare. To me, this would be just restitutional for everything they put the president through in the last year and a half. So sure, I'm completely and totally in favor of it. In fact, now that you mention it, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't done this already.
Yeah, I think he's probably just not paying attention to her. But, think about it.
Well, hold on now. You may have also stumbled on something there. That might be the ultimate diss. Like, you're just not even worth the salt in my tears. I have no idea who you are exactly. You're not even worthy of a lawsuit. Exactly, yes.
But think about it. Like, we've gotten so used to people saying the worst things about Trump. I mean, truly the worst things that you're kind of like, whatever. But, like, if picture, like, yourself or anyone you know, if you got called that word, you would absolutely sue her. It would be so jarring and upsetting and defamatory. There'd be no question that you needed to do something about it. And really, the standards should not change just because you're Donald Trump. Yes, as a politician, you need to take barbs like, he's a liar, he's a bad person. Those are opinions to which she's totally entitled. Stating that he is a rapist is a statement of fact, which is false and has been rejected by a court of law. And she continues to do it. So what do you make of it?
It's the campaign rhetoric they want to hear. And
because
here's the thing.
Delano.
Oh, Delano, my bad. My bad.
Yeah,
Go
ahead.
No, I agree with Steve, right? To me, the heavier the claim, the heavier the burden of proof in terms of bringing evidence to bear. You just can't go and say things about people. I remember this happened when Justice Kavanaugh was being confirmed, and there was a political analyst on MSNBC who basically said, I'm paraphrasing, he was on Joy Reid's show, so that'll give you a sense of what's coming. He said, Kavanaugh is like all the guys I grew up with, in the sort of DMV area, right? He was the last guy in, a gang rape. And I thought to myself then, I said, I hope Justice Kavanaugh sues this guy under a bridge, because I think people have gotten way too reckless with their words, way too willing to say things and make claims about people that they can't substantiate with evidence. And to your point, Megyn, President Trump is not above the law, but he's not below it either. And this is a standard that I hold across the board, irrespective of political ideology or sort of partisan affiliation of skin color or religion. If you're going to make a claim about somebody and you're going to accuse them of some of the worst crimes known to man, you better come with some evidence. But there's another issue here that I want to point out. In addition to, I said, I live in Maryland, so I'm very familiar with the way blue states operate. I worked in local government for almost 15 years. My last year was in a gun violence prevention office, and I did some restorative justice training. I got certified in restorative justice. And one of the things that I noticed is that the people in restorative justice were always against punishment. They hated the punitive aspect of the justice system, unless it was against people that they didn't like. So if it was against January 6ers, throw them in jail for the rest of their life. If it was against Trump, throw the book at him. And AOC is using sort of words like felon and criminal in a pejorative sense today when she's talking about Trump. Any other time, it would be about ban the box. We shouldn't ask people about their criminal history. People deserve a second chance. So the left really isn't against, quote unquote, mass incarceration. They just want a weaponized legal system so that they can enact vengeance against the people that they do not like.
You've heard about tariffs recently, plus inflation, supply chain disruptions. It's a lot, but there is a silver lining that most people missed. President Trump specifically exempted gold and silver bullion from the tariff talk. The administration preserved the ability to diversify into precious metals. If you are concerned about your savings, consider a free consultation with a Birch Gold precious metals specialist. The first step is to text MK to 989898 and receive your free no-obligation info kit on gold. Learn how to hold gold and silver in a tax-sheltered account. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a gold IRA for no money out of pocket. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of thankful customers, consider texting MK to 989898. Again, text MK to 989898 to claim your free info kit right now. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.